Here's a proper definition. A miracle is an extraordinary work of God that transcends or contravenes the ordinary laws of nature. It's a particular kind of sign. It's an unmistakable display of supernatural power that is calculated to confront unbelief and provoke awe with the purpose of authenticating some agent of divine revelation or the revelation itself. True miracles are not merely arbitrary displays of God's power. They are manifestly supernatural, and they are themselves a form of revelation. This is God unveiling himself in a way that cannot be denied. That's what a miracle is. So that when someone born blind receives sight, that's a bona fide miracle. When the sea parts for Moses, or the sun stands still for Joshua, or Jonah is eaten by a big fish, those are actual miracles. Those are true signs and wonders. When Sarah conceived a child in her old age, decades after menopause, that was a miracle. When a couple today in their 30s with no verifiable physical obstacle struggle and pray through years of frustrating efforts to conceive, and they finally bear a child, that's not a miracle. It is an answer to prayer. In fact, was it God who answered those prayers and granted the blessing of conception? Absolutely. That's true anytime anyone gets pregnant. Psalm 127, verse 3, children are a heritage from the Lord. The fruit of the womb is a reward. God's always in it when a child is conceived. But even though we often use language broadly and say conception is a miracle, it's not a true sign and wonder miracle. It's a work of divine providence in perfect harmony with the ordinary operation of nature as God himself designed and decreed. Yes, he's in it. Does it exclude God to say the conception of a child is actually a miracle? Is not actually a miracle? Does that exclude God? Not at all, if you understand what providence means. And likewise, it's not technically a miracle when you pray that some need will be met and you get an unexpected check in the mail at exactly the right amount. That's not a miracle. It's not a miracle when the supermarket checkout lines are long, but the manager opens one up just when you get to the front. It wasn't a miracle in January 2009 when that airliner crash landed in the Hudson River and everyone aboard survived. That wasn't a miracle. Was it God who preserved the lives of those people? Absolutely. God is the unseen provider behind an unexpected check too, as well as every other penny that comes your way, even the money you earn and expect. Scripture says it is God who gives you the power to earn wealth. All of it. God's in all of that. And I personally thank God and give him the glory, and I hope you do too, for every mundane convenience and the everyday blessings of life, including something as mundane as when the only empty seat on the airplane is the one next to me. I thank God for that. But that's not a miracle in the biblical sense, and it cheapens the biblical idea of signs and wonders to pretend that those things are miracles. They're not. They're providence. That's evidence of God's providence. That's the proof of God's providence. It's not a miracle. Miracles are rare, even in Scripture. Most of the miracles in the Bible, as Tom said yesterday, and while I'm giving definitions, here's a more or less technical definition of providence. Providence is God's continuous involvement with his creation, whereby he preserves and governs all his creatures from the greatest to the least, so that in accord with his perfect will and design, he sovereignly orders everything he has made to accomplish everything he intends for his own glory. Now, think this through. I just gave you that it's a very straightforward definition, which is really no more or less than what we mean when we speak of the sovereignty of God. That's what Ephesians 1:11 means when it says God works all things according to the counsel of his own will.